Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for the day of 906 for the 17th of August. Do press the like button, smash it, drop some artillery shell on it, because it's naughty, so you need to smack it, you will enjoy it, you will feel very happy. And also subscribe if you're new to this channel. This is the DPA War channel, this is the second channel. The main channel is just simply called Defense Politics Asia. And the Frontline Changes report is published on the main channel. So this is the war channel. So we do the serious thing. No, the Frontline Changes report is for the noobs. The real experts like you guys, you are the experts. The real pros watch the SITREP. So we're gonna cover the situation over the past day, the past 24 hours. Okay, so we have some explosion. Two Patriot launchers and the radar was hit. One of them, I'm not sure is it the Patriot or the radar entirely exploded. This is a Patriot, and you can see how the Patriot is positioned right here. And if you look, Patriot, I think it's a 200 kilometers, maybe. I think it's around 200 kilometers range, from my memory. So it does just nice cover all the front lines. So very, very strategically positioned SAM system, but it's still got found. It got discovered by a Russian drone, and the Russian drone basically flew, I don't even know, like 150 kilometers, and discovered these Patriots, and then they launched an Iskander on it. And with the cluster munition, so that basically disabled or damaged the launchers. Of course, it could also be decoys. Could. I'm just saying could, because I didn't see the launchers explode. So I think it's just radar that was hit, because the cluster munition just clustered, and the bigger explosions only hit one vehicle out of the three. So that's one thing. And over at the Dnipro city, the Dnipro International Airport, yesterday we have reported that the Russian side talked about a destruction of a MiG-29. It was then geolocated by military summary. So it's a Sukhoi 24 hit by Iskander M. So these Iskanders are really flying everywhere. There's another one. I think it's this one. So the M270, if you do not know what is it, it's like a bigger version of the HIMARS, the tracked version of the HIMARS, but with double the payload. They listened to my advice and not put the HIMARS so far up front. They put it closer to Sumy, just off Zhivano Dibrova, and it still got discovered and destroyed. Again, it's by Iskander. So these Iskanders are like the arch enemy of HIMARS and M270, and these Iskanders are hitting all this way more than the M270s are hitting the Iskanders. In fact, I don't even see much of HIMARS strike on Iskander from at least the release footages. So it is pretty depressing, I would guess, because we already have HIMARS getting destroyed previously. Now the M270 got destroyed, so there is a lot of losses. And another of this hit was a Lancer hitting a T-764. I think there must be something else I missed. So anyway, these are the strategic strikes. Anyway, these are the main strategic strikes. So we're gonna go from the Kherson front, go anti-clockwise and end in Kursk or Kursk, and we go to the Kherson front. Over the Kherson front, the Russian forces are reportedly attacking Dnipro. And this is again reported by the Ukrainian side. So there's nothing much to really talk about over there. Russian Defense Ministry reported shelling over at Ivanivka, and that's all we know of the Kherson front. Very quiet, very, very quiet. We move into the Zaporizhia front. At the Zaporizhia front, Russian forces continued started to be a bit more active over in the Orekhiv and the Kayamsky sector, with fighting being reported over at Petikaki, Nesteryanka, Novodanilevka, and Malatomashka. So the main one is actually these two. The one at fighting towards Malatomashka and Novodanilevka. These are the one that is more common, more oftenly or frequently reported. The lack of frontline changes over at the Orikhiv sector is very disturbing, because it doesn't feel like there is no frontline change. There should be more frontline changes due to the strategic situation around here. The Ukrainians should be withdrawing or moving to some more defendable lines, and the Russians has been reportedly attacking this area all the time. So it's a bit weird that there's no frontline changes around in this Orikhiv sector. We move into the Donetsk front. At the Donetsk front, we have fighting across the entire region. We're fighting reported at Preshestivka, Voleda, towards at Vodian, Konstantinivka, Maximilianivka, as well as Krasnohorivka. So you can see the entire area is pretty much being activated. And particularly, we have very significant updates over in the Voleda-Vodian region. Russian forces have crossed the road. So now people ask why the Russian crossed the road. Because they want to go to Vodian or Vodiane. So that's the reason why the Russian crossed the road. So the Russians have taken this position, and this is updated by the Ukrainian mapping. This is not Russian propaganda. The Ukrainian side reported this with the Russian forces basically crossing this area here and taking everything else around it. So this vector of attack is complete, like fully completed. The next one just right of it is we are unclear whether they have taken the entrenchment or not. And so this is pretty significant, because now with these 2 kilometers advance, the Russians are now just 1 kilometers away from the first buildings in the Vodiane region. And I believe this is dachas. I believe these are dachas. Oh, it might actually look like houses more than just dachas. So the coal miners works probably stayed here last time. So anyway, the Russians are just 1 kilometers away from it. I think there's nothing much around here. And if the Russians can find some kind of operating position for operating positions around here, probably this forest region, if the Russians probably will secure this area and then use this as a for operating base to then attack in towards Vodian. Or they can actually just go down the tree line. That would also work, allow them to attack northward and start the battle of Vodiane. So that is a pretty significant, very, very significant update around here. And the Russians are also reportedly attacking Voleda. And this has been ongoing for a bit of time this month. We have 8, 9, 12 to 14, and then now on the 17th, we see the Russians are trying to move around the Voleda region. So very suspicious, very, very sus. We move up. Konstantinivka, no update. Maximilianivka, no updates. Krasnohorivka, no update. So basically more or less the same. Suddenly there's no voice. Very, very suspicious as well. A lot of suspicious things happening nowadays. Maybe, DRGs have infiltrated my throat. That sounds actually very wrong. Nothing penetrate into my throat. So we move into the Rhino front. I mean the DFK front. Anyway, a lot of talk. I can see a lot of talk within the DPA community about when I will actually change the name, and I think we are very, very close to changing the name very soon. We are now closer to Pokrov than actually at DFK, and pretty much we are near to the point where I have to really just call this the Pokrov front very, very soon. I now put it to the point where I'm going to wait for a capture of one of the first bosses, the Horodivka or Novohorodivka. If I think once one of them fall to the Russians, we will have to change the name to Pokrov front. And now in the southern part, this will go into the Donetsk front, and it will constitute to the Donetsk front. And the northern part, maybe this area here. Maybe from Vodizenka region, or just maybe from this area here. I'm not sure how do I break this up. Maybe from this area, from Vodizenka all the way to New York and Thorax. Maybe this will be one consistent front line, and maybe we will just come up with another name for this soon. Maybe Konstantinivka front. That is so what a mouthful. Maybe they will join the New York front. So then the DFK front will cease to exist. like the Popasna, sector or Popasna front a long time ago. So so now that's what I'm looking at, because yeah, but ultimately I just want to highlight this entire front line, this actually entire thing is the Donetsk front. It's just that I broke it up for easy understanding. So that's why there's Adiyevka front, New York front, and then Bakhmut front, and then Sivers front. These are all part of the Donetsk front. So it's just that, yeah, just want to break it up in a more sensible way so that we can really talk about things. If not, then it's very hard to chit chat about the war. But with Pokrov coming, is looming in the horizon. I think we will be reconstituting the front line very, very soon. And yeah, I'll probably will have to rename, move the blue border up, so that it makes perfect sense when you look at the map. So whatever it is, let's see how this develop. And to go into the front line, massive update. Russian forces have confirmed to have captured Mykolaiivka based on Ukrainian mapping. They are fighting now towards Novohorodivka, and they are also captured half of Novozelane, and they're pushing out Zelane. Russian forces geolocated in this area here look like they are trying to push towards Zavitny, but the fighting is already at Zavitny due to the fact that the Russians have fully captured the western part of Novozelane. So as you can see, the entire western half of Novozelane has been captured, and they're basically at the doorstep of Zavitny. So Russian forces attacking into Zavitny is probably a given by now. And with Russian forces geolocated at that end, we are going to see Russian forces probably attacking into the eastern part of Novozelane. And I don't think this is a defendable position. I think the next frontline update is going to be pretty big, as well as the Ukrainian forces most likely is going to be routed from this area entirely. They're going to redraw. There is no meaning to fight at this area here. It's just meaningless, because technically this is a lost cause for now. So so the Russian forces is most likely going to push towards Marinivka very soon, and they're going to cut the highway, and they're going to push towards Horodivka very, very soon, I guess. But they could also don't do it, because they might want to just focus on the first boss, which is Horodivka, where the Russian forces already have a strong foothold around here. They have a strong foothold, which means that they would probably be continuing their assault into Horodivka. So let's see how this develop. I think this is massive headache. And I saw some pro-Ukrainian guys saying that, I don't know, every day you talk about collapse, every day Ukraine collapse. But what you want me to say? What, this is collapse? This is a collapse. This is what it is, a collapse. What you want me to say? This is reality. When the Kursk Offensive first happened, and all this, I also said the same thing. There is no Russian defenders. The entire line has collapsed. The Ukrainians have taken grounds. Maybe I didn't use the word collapse. Maybe, I don't know. But there is no line. So you can't collapse something that is not there. But these are established defense lines. And the Ukrainian forces are trying to hold back the Russians. The lines collapse. Because it collapsed, that's why the advancements are so fast. So, no, don't cope. This is the reality. It doesn't change the reality for me putting sugar on my words. Okay, if you want me, I can, from now on, I just use sugary words. The Ukrainians find the land very disgusting, so they decided to just move to better land, because this land are all corrupted and very acidic. They cannot farm, so they leave the lands to all those shovelers. Make them feel better, like they have more land, but it's all useless land. The Ukraine don't want useless land. Feel better now? Crazy, right? The reality is reality. Collapse means collapse. So anyway, over at this northern sector, okay, I think I should talk about here first. Russian forces attack towards Marinivka. This is the first time this is mentioned by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. However, the Ukrainian Defense Ministry mentioned this place called Novotoroysk. There is no Novotoroysk nearby. The nearest Novotoroysk is like here. This can't possibly be where the Russians attack. So I suspect that it is some kind of a miswritten maybe it's Novotorodsky. I think this Novotorodsky is a bit wrong. So so this is why I put it at Novotorodsky. For this Novotorodsky, I think this is just a misname. I think they typo. I don't, because this is such a useless place. Maybe, you know, the whatever person that's writing the report maybe just wrote it wrong, you know, because it's not that important for him to realize that it's the wrong name. Over the northern sector of the Avdiivka front, Russian forces are attacking Kalinove, Zelenopole, as well as Vozdvizenka, and so this continues to be stagnant. I think this is just engagement skirmishes to keep the Ukrainians engaged and stuck here. It's a pinning operation, and that's about it. Because by doing this, the Ukrainians will have no choice. They have to continue to send reinforcements and to hold the line to prevent a Russian breakthrough. And by Russians not trying to break through it, they will think that it's very successful, and they'll continue to engage in this reinforcement and resupplying and replacing the dead soldiers and whatnot. Continue to keep the front line, you know, defended. But I don't think the Russians are pushing here at all. They are going for the very ambitious objective, which is Pokrov. I never expected them to be so ambitious. So yeah, Russians, you know, very unpredictable. So the M777 Howitzer was destroyed north of Kalinove, just off Kanativka. So this is destroyed by a Krasnopol. Krasnopol, if I'm not wrong, is a guided artillery shell. So yeah, so it's super highly accurate, and there is a problem. The Ukrainians are, you know, keep losing M777s, but it's interesting how many M777s they gotten. We have so many reports of M777 getting destroyed, you know, for 2 years now, and they still have it. So amazing. Over at the New York front, we have fighting reported in the usual place at Pivnishny, towards Torex, in the Zalizny region, and New York. No reports of Nelipivka, so there's no updates, probably not much news here. And we move on to the Bakhmut front. At the Bakhmut front, we have nothing much, no, just Ivanivsky and Chasivia. Just going through the motion, I guess. No, there's nothing much there. I told you so. So over at Sivers, the Sivers offensive continues with shelling reported at Serebryanka. There's some fighting or shelling reported at Krychorivka, Verkhan-Okanyamsky, Sperne, Ivano-Darivka, Vimka, as well as Perezny. So Russian forces are making very serious pushes around here. Geolocation of Russian airstrike on the Ukrainian position in Verkhan-Okanyamsky just shows the Russians just unstopping, and no resources are really taken away due to the Kursk Offensive. Russians are still doing Russian thing in the SMO, in the special military operation. So for the Ukrainians, the troops here are not getting any relief at all. And yeah, that's quite depressing, you know. It's like you play a real-time strategy game, like, you know, Age of Empire or StarCraft, and then you send all your troops, you know, go and attack the enemy base, you know, in a one last ditch effort. And it never stopped the enemy at all. The enemy just continued to wipe you clean, and yeah, you just have to type the GGWP, man. So over at the Crimea front, Russian forces are attacking at Torske and Dibrova. We don't have much details about the things happening here. Some geolocation of Ukrainian forces in these areas, confirming Ukrainians continue to be defending this area very actively. And yeah, so this is the situation right over this location. But I have to say, based on our previous, you know, when we used to cover the earlier part of the war, in the first year of the war, with the Russians taking Liman is an extremely difficult place to defend because of the forest and the conservatory. Because this area is the Sviaty Hory National Park. This is a natural reserve in this area here, and it's just extremely difficult to defend for the Russians. All this river system, the Ukrainians can just keep sending troops, you know, secretly across the river and penetrate the forest. It was pretty much of a headache for the Russians during those days, and it looks like the Russians are just pretty happy with the line here. They don't feel the need to go to this place, because once you go to Liman, then you're facing down Slovians. It's a problem because the Russians probably aren't going to want to invade into Sloviansk. Going to Sloviansk means destroying a big city. Sloviansk is a huge city, so they're just going to stay away. And I think this is the Russian strategy right now, because you can actually capture the city with a massive pincer around. If you ever get there, and if you will ever get there, that's probably more than a year from now. And that's being very positive. If the war continues at this pace, and the Ukrainians continue to get reinforcements, I wouldn't say reinforcement, but no mobilizations, continue to get resupplies, reinforced, equipments and whatnot, the war we're going to be dragged. We're going to continue to drag on like the Syrian wars, the Syrian civil war, with the fighting against the rebels and ISIS and whatnot. It would drag on and on and on. Then, yeah, maybe they will take a very, very, very super long time. So anyway, this is a huge place. Yeah, so it is what it is. Moving up north, over at the southern part of the Svetove front, Russian forces are attacking at Novoyehorivka towards Grevkivka or Hrevkivka, towards Nevsky, and at Makievka. And the big news is at Makievka, with Russian forces launching a real assault into this settlement here, with Russian forces geolocated on the crossing of the Zerebets River. Wrong color. Crossing of the Zerebets River, and they have taken the northeastern part of Makievka. So this is pretty serious. And if you look at the other mapping, if you look at this, you can see how serious the situation is right now. The main crossing is actually over here, but the Russians have already crossed over to the other side. And of course, the Ukrainians have high ground advantage around this area. So whether the Russians can capture this entire area remains to be seen. Previously, we have a geolocation of artillery hitting Ukrainian forces just at the high ground. So Ukrainians have a little bit left, a bridgehead around here. So let's see how this develop over at Makievka. Very, very interesting development around here. And if Makievka fall, then yeah, the entire strategic posture around this area will change. Over in the northern part of the Svetove front, in the Berestove region, the Makievka region, Russian forces are attacking in the area of Berestove. They are attacking in the direction of Lozova, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, which is over here, and fighting reported at Stemakivka. And by the look of it, this is like a full front assault as well. This is one big attack. So yeah, another big attack. And we move on over at the Kupiansk front. At the Kupiansk front, we have fighting reported at Terbaivka, at Petropavlivka, and at Sinkivka. Ukrainian forces geolocated to be defending this area here. So in the Petropavlivka Sinkivka region, I'm not expecting much things to happen around here because this is not very important for the Russians. It's good for the Russians to keep the current line. It's more positive for them to keep the current line and defeat the other parts. So this is the situation over at this Kupiansk front. And if you haven't noticed, all of the Ukrainian front line inside of Ukraine is all Russians attacking. The Ukrainians are not counter-attacking at all. Even their counter-attack limited are all part of the Russian offensive. The Russians are the main one that is attacking. And the Ukrainians do not have any offensive actions within Ukraine itself. All the offensive actions is now in the Kursk region. So yeah, something to ponder about. And over the Kharkiv front, we have fighting reported over in Voschansk, Lipsy, which is the usual ones. And then we have this attack reported at Ibiske. So this is reported by the Russian Defense Ministry. I suspect this is just some shelling report. Otherwise, there's nothing new to report around at the Kharkiv front. And that's about it from this area. We move into the Kursk front. So in the Kursk front, so I wouldn't go into super details because this is part of this situation report. There is still fighting in this area here, but particularly the Ukrainians are pushing in the north, in the west, in the east, and there's nothing much happening in the south. So we go from the south first. In the south, we have geolocation of Ukrainian forces inside of Spanoe. So Ukrainian forces continue to be in this area here. I haven't moved the mapping. I forgot to push the mapping up to the line that was previously mapped. I'll push it later, but do note that this is under Ukrainian control around here. So and we move up over to the north of the Suja region. Ukrainian forces have some kind of success around here, but it might also be a trap. Let me see whether I can zoom in, zoom out. Okay, let's do this. So Ukrainian forces are attacking in the Ruskoye Poroshnoye. They are attacking at Chekaskoye Poroshnoye as well as Matinovka. And all these locations, Ukrainian forces are geolocated inside of the settlement. There is Russian reports of shelling at Kotsitsa, and which means that based on this situation, Ukrainian forces have actually taken some grounds. They have taken the northern part of Matinovka. They have actually entered into Ruskoye Poroshnoye, and most likely, based on the current situation, it looks like they have taken Kotsitsa. There's no news regarding Pravda. There's a high chance that Pravda is actually under Ukrainian control as well because of the makeup of the front line. Most likely, the front line actually looks like this. Most likely, it's more like this around the Chekaskoye Poroshnoye region. So that would make more sense to see that the Ruskoye Poroshnoye and Chekaskoye Poroshnoye is together, and is a main offensive action from the Ukrainians in this direction. So if we zoom in a bit, you can see the geolocation. So, but there is still the northern part. So Ruskoye Poroshnoye is not fully captured by the Ukrainians yet. Kotsitsa situation was that on the 12th of August, there was some shelling report of Ukrainian forces at Kotsitsa. And we have again a shelling report at Kotsitsa, but because of the geolocation of Ukrainian forces in this area, this is why I changed the mapping for Kotsitsa. Otherwise, the shelling may not necessarily mean that the settlement is captured. So this is based on the judgment call. This is assessed. This is not based on a confirmation from any sources. So we move further up north. There is some continued Air Force shelling or airstrike on Ukrainian position at Pogrebki, as well as FPV drone strike off Kreminoye. So the situation here remains unchanged. Over in the northern front, Ukrainian forces continue to be attacking towards Kauchuk and Alexievsky. This front line is here. Like I said, I forgot to push the front line up. So the Ukrainian forces are still trying to push this area, but it doesn't look like there's any changes. And it is unusual, if you ask me, that the Ukrainians are so obsessed about trying to take this position. It could be the case where there must be some massive strategic objective that the Ukrainians are trying to do, and they must capture this area. It's like part of their plan. They must capture this area to push up north. And what's north of this location? Lgov. So I'm not sure. It just feels like it. Feels like that's the situation. And from Lgov, they can go down the highway towards the the Kursk nuclear power plant. The roads from the other side here towards the Kursk power plant is a bit more complicated. So maybe that's the reason. I'm not sure. But it feels very unusual for the Ukrainians to just go back into trying to crash through a defense line, and same thing over at this area here where the Ukrainians are also trying very hard. So let's see. There's some shelling reported at Leonidovo. Shelling reported of the southeast of Kirinevo. Ukrainian forces are attacking in this area here. Again, this is another area where the Ukrainians are very adamant at attacking. And there's no much updates or no updates south of Kirinevo. So yeah, that's basically the Kursk situation. Russian shelling in the rear positions are so far not very important. There's various numbers of them in these 4 different locations. But otherwise, that's the current situation in the Kursk front. And I will go probably into details and analysis and on what is probably happening in the Kursk update later if I come to that. I may not do it, I may do it. And also check out the DPA open mic, which will be hosted later today. So anyway, thank you for watching. Do press the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next update.